You're listening to the Club Scene Podcast, powered by Energia, with Ger Burke, Darragh Frawley and Maurice Hartery.
Tough day on Saturday.
It is so relentless.
We've been involved in rugby over the years.
Will it get a suit?
Nah, I think it's bad form.
They'll be fine.
Clueless.
Oh God, this is going to be the day when it's all over. Second.
And all that's left will be the lion's share.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome along to the Club Scene Podcast, focusing on all things Energia, AIL and Club Rugby in general. On this week's pod, we'll be reviewing the round 16 games from last weekend, as well as looking ahead to round 17, which is the penultimate weekend of the season. Where is it gone? We'll have a Race of Clubs updated in association with Cal Apparel, and someone was Oslaughter in the host section. It was bound to happen 16 games in. And as always, we'll have the usual hot takes, poor predictions, and slightly above average humour. But before we get to that, I would like to introduce my co-hosts. This man has been lashing into the High Rock sessions ahead of his 40th birthday weekend in Marbella in a couple of months' time, and is showing real signs of joining and adapting to the fitness community. These include losing your wedding ring for an hour before and after the gym and putting your keys in the bowl at home by accident instead of the gym. But in all seriousness, he's benching above his body weight, which is just over 55.5 kilos. Thomond under 20's most improved player 2007, and our favourite thing in the wing, Mr. Maurice Hartery. I was stuck at lunch, Moss. I had to go to the personal life. My apologies. How are you?
Good. Here, listen, Frawls, I'm not the one in the swingers CrossFit club.
The big man has done it again with his all-conquering PBC team after securing the 2026 Munster School Senior Cup in sensational fashion last week. Credit where it's due, 145 points scored by his side in 3 cup games, thoroughly deserved the same amount in pint bottles of Bulmers from Wednesday to Sunday last week. A bad weekend to be a chicken curry, fried rice and prawn crackers, love. The self-proclaimed show favourite, Mr. Ger Burke. Burkey, in all seriousness, you're allowed to be a little bit off after the week of celebrations, but all jokes aside, serious achievement and great days to be a part of.
Yeah, delighted. Feeling absolutely appalling right now. But yeah, it's a great couple of days. I absolutely love school rugby, and they're days to cherish.
Burkey, you're not going to say it, but I will. Probably just massive congratulations. Number one, you've done some job with them. Probably, on paper anyway, the best schools team we've ever seen come out of Munster. If you just look at the bare facts of it, 146 points, I think, scored in 3 games, conceded 8, am I right? 8 or 10?
8.
Yeah, 8 points. Incredible, stood toe-to-toe with loaded Leinster schools this year. Beat Mary's, I think, did you? I know it's in a friendly only. I know it's not competitive game. Who won the Leinster Senior Cup today? Obviously went to won the schools competition in Spain. So I suppose hats off, Burkey, is all I can say, really.
Hats off.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that, pal. Yeah, they're a special group of boys, in fairness to them. And more than anything, they're just great lads. Even in the few days now afterwards, you would enjoy them. They have great fun. They don't take themselves too seriously,
You couldn't leave him near Morris though, because that's the exact opposite. They wouldn't be good fun around him. He'd drain the life out of them.
The sponge.
Yeah.
Soaks up the atmosphere.
And what better way to cheer you up, Burkey, on a Monday night than talking about the Energia All-Ireland League. So where you find us, the clubscenepod@gmail.com, and excellent.
I actually can't remember a single result.
At YouTube, the Club C podcast, we're on good podcast apps, and we're on iTunes, so be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to us. As always, we are once again delighted to say that this season's podcast is powered by Energia. Make sure to follow at Energia Ireland on Instagram and TikTok for more details. Plenty of offers available. Online offer is available for a limited time. T's and C's apply. That's energia.ie/rugby smart offer. There was a little bit of giddiness, lads, before we came on, because round 17 this weekend is generally the moving weekend in terms of teams, but round 16 did not disappoint, and it was actually a record weekend, I think, for points scored. So with starting Division 1A, Cork Constitution reignited their top 4 fight with a 42 points to 19 bonus point win over Nino Ormond in Temple Hill. Old Belvedere had a sensational 21 points to 14 win over St. Mary's College in a tight and tense game in Ollie Campbell Park. Terranure College were beaten 22 points to 3 at home by a brilliant Lansdowne side. Remarkable in the context of where the league is, which we'll get in a few moments' time, but a massive, massive win for Declan Fassbender's men as they head down the home straight. UCD got a much needed win, as it looks like they will be playing in the playoff in a couple of weeks' time. 28 points to 21 over Ballynahinch in the UCD Bowl. And Young Munsters and Clontarf, 83 points shared in Tom Clifford Park. Clontarf, for the second week in a row, scoring 50 points or more, winning 50 points to 33 on the road in Tom Clifford Park. A remarkable win for Andy Wood's men, which means they go back to the summit of Division 1A and have confirmed a home semi-final. Who that will be against will be over the next 160 minutes of rugby. We'll find out. But Burkey, we will start in Cork, in Temple Hill. Sean French and Adamar Brace and Peter Hyland means it's a bonus point for Cork Constitution, which brings them level on points with Terranure College, only separated by the points differential, 51 or 2 points, judging by my past maths. But a big win for Cork Constitution, and with the Terranure game ahead this weekend, you've put yourselves in a position to get into the top four after a defeat against Ballynahinch and a defeat against St. Mary's.
Yeah, for us, as a group, we needed a win. We needed to kind of get back to, just, feeling good about our performance, that we could stand over. And then obviously the bonus on top of that is that we've put our faith in our own hands now, that after a season that's been up and down and some poor days, and the performances that just aren't good enough from us, that we still have a shot at top four is brilliant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So look, it's a massive task. We've got to go to Terranure and play Landstone. But we've got a shot, and I think, considering some of our performances and results, that's as much as we can ask for going into the last two games.
Without a shadow of a doubt, New Ormond will play their rugby in Division 1B next season. They have been fierce competitors, but didn't pick up anything from the game and remain bottom of the table. Old Belvedere had a 21 points to 14 win over St. Mary's College at Nonley Campbell Park. A very spicy affair, I'm led to believe. Jaden Beckett, Andre Ryan and Morgan Meredith with the tries for Quintin O'Neill's men. Meredith tagging on 3 conversions. Rob Gilsenan and Greg Jones, the try scorers for Mark McHugh's charges. Mick O'Gara with 2 conversions. 7 points apiece at half-time, Burkey. We spoke about all the superlatives of St. Mary's with their high-scoring wins over the last couple of weeks. Old Belvedere, particularly in Ollie Campbell Park, have proven to be a very, very difficult team to beat. They've turned over the league leaders last Saturday. And you mentioned a couple of weeks back they're building very, very nicely, but they seem to be right at home in Division 1A.
Massively so. Standing toe-to-toe with everyone now. Real dangerous outfit. It was the start of the season. There's the reason they're not in reckoning ready for top four, I suppose. But that'll be next year's target. I think they've acquitted themselves brilliantly. There's, as you said, that's the perfect way to put it, probably. They're at home in Division 1A. They look like they belong. Look like they've been there for years. I know they've had experience there before, but not with this group of players. And I think, I'm sure they'll be saying, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda, top four, the way they're playing now and how comfortable they are with any team they come across now. They never seem like they're out of depth. But I think when the dust settles, you can't but describe this season as a success for them.
Indeed.
Considering the history of how teams normally, like Mary's and themselves, have been they bucked the trend. Normally, like teams like Nina, Shannon, Gary Owen, years gone by, they struggle. Armagh struggle when they come up. I think Belvo will consider this a success. But I hope they do.
Absolutely, 100%. A few notable mentions as well. Plenty of players in Old Belvedere getting over 50 caps and 150 caps, and you won't believe,
love that.
You won't believe that I've actually lost my notes, but I will find them and we will come back to that. But Old Belvedere, we love to see that online. They've done incredibly well.
I love this. That's something that's kind of happened in the last few years. That wasn't really a thing in our day, but I think it's brilliant. Lads been acknowledged for however many caps they have for a club. I love that, or how many AL caps they have. I think that's quality.
100%. And even with the time that you gave me there, I still wasn't able to pull it up, but we will move to the Lansdowne Terranure College game. Sorry, before we do, St. Mary's College, the defeat means that they dropped to second in the table. They're 3 points behind Clontarf, 9 ahead of Lansdowne with 2 games to play. It looks like St Mary's will secure a home semi-final, and Clontarf, as they had been ahead, but that one losing bonus point there means that they, as I said, are 3 points behind Clontarf and 9 ahead of Lansdowne ahead of the round 17 games this weekend. Lansdowne had a brilliant 22 points to 3 win on the road in Terranure College in Lakelands Park. Chris Cosgrove with the sole penalty for Terranure, Bobby Sheehan, Paul Wilson and Carl Eddy, the try scorers for Lansdowne. Burkey, when Lansdowne and Terranure play, we remember those incredible semi-final bouts over the last number of years. There's always going to be fireworks. I suppose the impressive thing from here is that Lansdowne stopped Terranure College from scoring a try. We did mention that Terranure have 3 home games on the run-in because of the refurbishment and rebuilding of the clubhouse. But Lansdowne potentially peaking at the right time. But again, Terranure still have claws and they will have a big say in this top 4 race.
Yeah, I suppose there's a couple of things in it. Lansdowne and Terranure have played some unbelievable games in the last couple of years. Since Terranure have kind of, pushed on to be a top 4 side on a regular basis, almost to the offence of Lansdowne, and kind of, I suppose, for a while would have set themselves as the superior outfit for a couple of years. Lansdowne and Turner don't like each other, and in a very good way. Like, it's a really good, healthy
dislike
rivalry. Yeah, dislike and rivalry, like sport and rivalry, as it should be. You know what I mean? It's not in a negative way. And I think when they play each other, there's a bit of venom, and they've had some absolutely humdingers over the last few years. They've met in a couple of Senior Cup finals, and every time they play, it's not just another game. And I know that'll mean a lot to Lansdowne. I also think for Lansdowne, it's like pressure on. What a performance and a statement when it really mattered, when it really came down to it. And the third thing for me with Lansdowne is when they keep it aside like Terranure. Oh, I know Paul Barr is got in taking over the reins since Carlos left, and Paul is an unbelievable attack coach. If you're keeping them to 3 points, that's an indictment of your defence. Like, they are, and I know myself from playing against them, you feel like they've got 17 players on the pitch. They swarm you, they play with a ridiculous line speed, and they're just constantly under pressure. And just massive job done there at the weekend.
Indeed. Moving back to Old Belvedere, it was our old pal Jack Keating, who we had at a roadshow that none of us remember way back in 2019, who had 151 AIL caps. Will MacDonald with 55, Hugh Flood with 54, Tom Mulcair with 53, Tom Connolly with 53 caps. So well done to all of those players. But as Burkey said, Lansdowne 22 points to 3, a shutout in terms of tries, but Terranure will have a big say in this top 4, as will Lansdowne ahead of round 17 this weekend. UCD had a very welcome bonus point win over Ballinhinch, 28 points to 21 in the UCD Bowl. Thomas Quinn, Oisin Spain, Ben Brownlee and Orla Handley, the try scorers for Emily McMahon's men. Dara Gilborn with 4 conversions from the tee. Clayton Milligan with a brace. Aaron Cairns with the third for Adam Craig's men. Conor Rankin and Paul Kerr with conversions between them. High scoring game, Burkey. With respect to Ballinhinch, just kind of sums up their season. It's going to be their lowest finish in the last 3 years. 2 5th place finishes. They are in 8th at the moment. They still have a mathematical chance, but they know after that loss the weekend, the top 4 is probably beyond them. And from UCD's point of view, now that they know that they're going to be in the playoff against the 4th place team in Division 1B, it is important timing to get a win for confidence more than anything. But in the bowl on their day, UCD, like we've seen with the double over Lansdowne, can beat anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, they're the type of outfit, they're not going to spend too much time feeling sorry for themselves that they're there. They're just going to get ready for it, and they should be very confident going into it. Obviously, look, it's 2 games, anything can happen, but as you say, you'd anticipate relatively good weather in the next couple of weeks that you'd back UCD against anyone, especially from a division below. And that's no disrespect to 1B. That's just the reality, I think, where the gap is. Sorry, what were we saying there? Our UCD getting a win as well, but they've never been too far away from us. Yeah, there have been a couple of games where the scoreline's got a little ugly, but to be honest, like when you play them, they've been for most games up to 60 odd minutes, 65 minutes. They're always in the mix,
Yeah,
they're decent out. They're a very decent outfit. Ballyhinch, I don't know what to say. It's madness. Like, they've done the double over Can, and Yeah, I'm not sure really. Like, I always just feel last year we kind of gone, they should have made top four, but didn't. And I don't know, like to see them done in eighth, it doesn't make sense to me. Like,
Yeah, well, to use your phrase, if you're not on it in 1A for 80 minutes, you're not going to get the win. And it just happened on a couple of occasions. And it's no
Yeah,
disrespect.
they kind of lost their way in November, December, really. January, I think, like they didn't win a game from the 15th of November until the 31st of January. And like, if you want to challenge for top four in 1A, you just can't do that. Like,
They were the back-to-back games against
yeah,
Terranor, Clontarf, and
Tarf, they went Lansdowne, Mary's, Tarf, yeah, and then they beat Lansdowne at home.
yeah. So, but alas, Ballynahinch safe from the playoff. They want to be higher up in the table, but the table doesn't lie. And heading into round 17, they can certainly jouer. Moss Burkey said the weather is going to be good over the next 3 weeks. Have you a long span outlook for the weather while we go through the scores of Young Munsters and Clontarf? Clontarf are 50 points to 33 winners over Young Munsters.
Break tomorrow, but like what a weekend it was, wasn't it? Just
Oh,
everyone was in better form. Like,
yeah, it was the lock has
Burkey
made.
didn't leave the fucking black hole. He didn't even see the sun outside.
I was just about to say, yeah, it was great weather sitting in the pub.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Clontarf were 50 points to 33, excuse me, winners over Young Munster and Tom Clifford Park. Kelvin Langan, Liam McMahon, Oisin Pepper, Stephen McLaughlin, and Fionn Gibbons, the try scores for George Slattery's team. Noah Sheridan, Dylan Donnan, and Niall Smith, Aaron Coleman, Hugo Lennox, Ivan Soroka, Dara Doyle, and Peter Maher, the try scorers for Andy Wood. I was in UL. We'll get to it at a pre-match lunch, and there was people actually talking about the Clontarf and Young Munsters game and what players would be available or whatnot. The point, Berkey, I want to bring to you is Young Munsters are 26 points to 17 up at half time against Clontarf in Limerick. It finishes 50 points to 33. This Clontarf team, I said it at the top, they scored 54 points at home against Belvedere and they scored 50 points. Now, they conceded 51 and they conceded 33 respectively in the two games I mentioned. But it is absolute madness, but it just shows Clontarf, they have a power game, they can now run it, and they've scored 104 points in the last two games. So they're a very, very different team to what we would have seen with them grinding you down. They now have the ability to run the ball and play much more than they have been in a number of years. That's the first point. The second thing is Young Munster is probably their race for the top four is run. They're on 41 points, still mathematically possible, but their opportunity was there on Saturday, and for 60 minutes plus, it looked like they were going to get it. But as I said, Clontarf are champions for a reason, and they're sitting in top spot after scoring 2 half centuries in round 15 and 16.
I'm utterly confused after that. But
That's the only one I actually tuned out.
I have no fucking idea what the question is. But
Clontarf scoring.
I think that's a harsh statement on Tarf. I thought last year in the final they played some great rugby. Their score to win it at the end was great rugby. But what I will say is it's probably not the thing that people speak about because their set piece is so fucking good. And what it is that anytime they're not playing particularly well or they might not have certain personnel, that their set piece gets them out of holes and that they always have a shot because their set piece is so fucking good. Excuse my language. But I think at times, Frawls, they do play, and I thought against UCD there a couple of weeks ago, you saw some 100-meter score, wasn't there? You know,
no, fair. Just for clarity, I wasn't questioning their.
You were slating them. You're an absolute
their ability to play rugby.
You're joking, man.
From their point.
But yeah, like,
but
also put in context again. Both of you know, you're in Greenfields on Saturday. You're Dublin side. You're 26-17 down half time. You can be guaranteed the crowd is raucous. Probably a decision or two gone with the home crowd, you know, cookies on top. That's not an easy place to grind out a win. Not to mind to come out and score 30-odd points.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the second half, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where you're kind of going, that's you know, where you're leader at half time where, you know, honest conversations are fucking had and it's right, we have a job to do here, let's get on with it and that's why they've been so successful, because they can pull those things out. You know what I mean? That's got to be up there, one of the best second half performances of the year. Like,
yeah, Indeed. Just a word on your Munsters as well, sitting in sixth on 41 points. They're 7 points outside the top four with 2 games to go, mathematically possible, but it looked like
No.
Saturday was the opportunity missed.
Well, it's not. It's like it is mathematically possible, but very, very improbable because what you have is you have obviously Caden playing Terranure and Lansdowne, so some of those they're going to pick up points. So it's nearly impossible for the Cookies to get in.
Thank you for clearing that up, Morris, with your optimistic outlook. But they've showed Burkey in patches this season that they've been able to mix it with the best, like the 7 losing bonus points. They've only won 6 games, but again, a disappointing end to what was at times a very, very promising season.
Yeah, and I think they've played outrageously good rugby at times. When they've been on it, they've been one of the best teams to watch, and they've been one of the best attacking teams. There after Christmas, they were the informed team of the entire league, and there was a lot of people saying that they were dark horses, not only for top 4 but for the actual the trophy, because they just looked like they were afraid of nobody. But then there was just a poor result lingering always. And was it the Belleville game or UCD game? I can't remember. Belleville, was it?
Belleville, yeah.
And you're kind of going, they kind of put an end to their run, and they lost in Cannes in a really tight affair. And I think a little bit of consistency at the start of the league as well. They just couldn't win the game. They couldn't buy a drop of luck at the start of the year, but they have played from a rugby point of view good enough to be top 4. But I suppose that's the difference between the likes of Tarf and that. Yeah, it's all great on any given day, but you got to do it for 16 out of the 18 weeks of the year. Like
they've scored the most amount of points in the league, Burkey. Just on what you're saying there. Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we had like they were and fucking good scores, man. Good rugby, like.
Yeah.
10 try bonus points, yeah. But as Burkey says, the table doesn't lie. After 16 games, the top 4, Clontarf on 63, Mary's on 60. Next up, Lansdowne and Terranure on 51 and 48. Cork Constitution in 5th on 48. Very similar to last season. Round 17 this weekend. In Division 1A sees Ballynahinch welcome Old Belvedere to Ballymacarn Park. Lansdowne and Clontarf clash on the Aviva Stadium back pitch. Nina Ormond and UCD in New Ormond Park. St Mary's College and New Munster in Lakelands. And Terranure College Cork Constitution in Lakelands Park. Moss, can you give us our Ace of Clubs update on our game of the week, please?
Yeah, I was just looking at the table there to make sure my maths wasn't off about the Cookies, but
probably
I think Terranure can need 4 points to guarantee finishing ahead of them, and they play each other. So unless it's a draw and then they both lose last game, it's unlikely. Anyway, Ace of Clubs this week. Burkey, obviously.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Mass.
Well, look, Burkey, I'm trying to catch you. Like, this is a vicious game. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it is. No prisoners, no mercy.
No prisoners. So, look, Burkey was having a good time. So, forgot to do it, and that's fair enough. But the overall week, I suppose we had Tom Taff from Blackrock on 24, Garrod Devaney from Scariff 25, and we joined top for the week with Morris Davin from Mary's on 26, and Mike Orchin McKeever, who hopefully I'll see this Saturday, on 26 as well. So well done to them.
2 great men.
Yeah.
Morris Davin and Mike Orchin McKeever, yeah.
So I had 18, which I was happy with. And Frawley, you had 13.
Yeah, I went for broke, and I was broke.
So the overall leaderboard, I'll go top 5. Dean Fanning from Garryowen, 282. Nippy Kinsella from Terranure, 283. Tied with Rory Gleeson from Cavan on 283 as well. Pádraig, is that Nesbitt from UL Bows, 285. And Ruan MacDonald still leads the way, 4 points ahead on 289. He's hanging on tough. Monkstown has dropped out of the playoff spots in 2C. We'll get to that, but he's hanging on tough at the top. The host then, Frawley, 69th. Sexy. 245.
Told you, High Rocks has changed him, Moss.
Burkey, 82nd, 238, and I am 92nd. Burkey, 233, 5 points behind you.
This is nail biting. I think you should have to personally deliver Ruan MacDonald if he wins.
The thing is, though, I actually thought I did it. Like I'd say I've written into Just Eat order or something. Thinking of it.
Man, do you know what?
There's some Chinese after getting tearing your away.
Did you see the video of Big John ordering the Chinese in Dubai that went viral?
I think so, yeah.
Man, it's unbelievable the manners on the man. But I was thinking about it. I was saying, fuck, I'd love to see you order the Chinese as well that you were ordering here one night.
Well, social media Tom will definitely try
big,
get a
big
VT.
Burkey.
We'll try get a VT clip with Bosch. We'll try and get a VT a VT clip organised.
I'm trying really hard not to take offence here, like, but I won't lie, like, move on because my patience weren't in, like.
Master Clubs game of the week, please.
Well, I've good news on the S of clubs. The time has come, lads. It's time for the bumper weeks to start.
Wow.
Every meaningful game is in. So, in 1A, we actually only have 3 of them at the moment. I've gone Turn York on, Lansdowne Tarf, Mary's Young Munsters.
3 cracking games.
3 draws?
Yeah.
3 draws. Moss, Lansdowne, or Clontarf?
I actually didn't even think about them. I actually picked the games, and usually I'd have a little think about them. I didn't bother my all. I actually forgot what I even picked. This has been some battles over the last couple of years.
Hands down, the worst part of the podcast is listening to morons.
I know.
When it comes to games,
I know no one wants to hear it as well, so just pick it. Like, I'm going to go with Tarf. I think. Yeah, I'll stick.
Mary's or Young Munster?
Mary's at home.
Turn York on.
I'm going to go with Turn York. What's that? 3 home wins? No. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. I'm going to go Lansdowne, Mary's, Con.
No, Tarfer away.
There we go.
Lansdowne, Mary's, Con. Okay.
That's what I'm saying in the podcast, whether or not I actually pick it. But we will see. So that is our Ace of Clubs in association with Calaparl. Make sure to enter before
Instonians. Yeah, 1:30 Instonians, 2:00 kickoff.
1:25 Burkey, that's directed at you. 1:25 by Saturday. Have your entries in. You could win various prizes with Calaparl. Many thanks for their continued support as well. So that is Division 1A taken care of. Moving to Division 1B, Blackrock at a 29 points to 21 win over Queen's University in Stradbrook, City of Armagh.
Well, he's on this week, must we?
Yeah, this Friday, Burkey.
Unreal.
Wait until Division 2 for that now, Jerry.
Anyone listening that hates, the amount of people that hate teachers, this and that. Yeah, another 2 weeks after, lads.
Yeah.
Do you know what I say? Go back to college and be a teacher.
Yeah, well, there you go. We will start Division 1B again. Blackrock College had a 29 points to 21 win over Queen's University, meaning they move up to 7th in the table, 5 points ahead of the relegation playoff places. City of Armagh continued their run towards the playoffs, winning 25 points to 12 against Highfield in the Palace grounds. Very congested in 4, 5 and 6 of Division 1B. Dublin University had a stunning win on the road. Tony Smead's men winning 40 points to 26 against Johnny Murphy's Nace in 4-0. And Old Wesley with an unbelievable win on the road, 40 points 35 against UCC in the Mardyke, meaning that they have a 1-point advantage over Trinity with 2 games to go. Garryowen as well with a monumental win on the road up north in Shawsbridge, 36 points to 33.
Crosshaven
over Instonians.
Crosshaven's point of difference, their boasting is gone.
Yeah, it is a rare defeat for Instonians, only their second of the season at home and their second in 30 something odd games. Burkey will start in Dublin. Blackrock College 29, Queens 21. Queens will play their rugby in Division 2A next season. Jamie Rogan, Jack Deegan, Barry Galvin and Matthew Dwan, the try scores for James Blaney's men. Josh Stevens, Evan McGonigal and James McKillop for Queens. Blackrock leading 29 points to 7 at half time. Bit of a Jekyll and Hyde season for Blackrock. They sit in 7th with the bonus point win on 39 points, 6 points behind Highfield in 6th and 5 points ahead of UCC. Kind of one of those things now where they just want to make sure that they don't get the playoff with respect to them. But 5 points at home is just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to give credit to Queens. They fought really hard the last couple of weeks to, give it everything they have to stay up. But just wasn't to be. Didn't have the players on a regular enough basis. You never knew what was going to come out of the team sheet there, really, for the last 2 years, to be honest. But in fairness to them, they haven't rolled over. very unlucky not to pick up a win or two in the last couple of weeks as well. But that's a decent effort, a decent performance in against a very good side in Blackrock. But Blackrock, 5 points, job done, move on.
Indeed, it is. As we said, Queens will play their rugby in Division 2A and have done very, very well in the last couple of weeks. Just hasn't gone their way. Blackrock sit in 7th with 2 games to go. City of Armagh were 25 points to 12 winners over Highfield in the Palace grounds. Conor Neary, Rocky Olsen and James Anderson. The scores for Chris Parker's side. Olsen with 2 conversions and 2 penalties. Shane Buckley with 4 penalties for James Cronin's side. They led 12 points to 7 at half time. Burkey, what this means for both sides is that City of Armagh and Highfield are now tied in 5th and 6th, only separated by 8 points. And then Garryowen are 2 points ahead of them. So it will be very interesting to see what way it plays out. But the importance of City of Armagh stopping Highfield from getting anything could be pivotal in terms of 4 o'clock on weekend of round 18.
Massive, yeah. Yeah, like from Highfield point of view, like they're beating up in Naas. They won the Senior Cup, but by God, I don't think they'll be very happy with how they played. Like, left it. Congratulations on winning the first time in 58 years. And, geez, the celebrations were incredible. And to see the emotion and winning it, I suppose they probably won't care about the performance. It was about getting the trophy. But if you look at it from a kind of a more objective point of view in the case of AIL, like, that's 3 games that are over. They probably haven't really performed where they'd be happy with. And you just can't really do that this time of the season when you want to be top 4.
Yeah, indeed. The loss to Naas in round 14, the win against Shannon 1917 in the depths of injury time, and the loss to City of Armagh the weekend mean
probably took a lot out of them. They're playing. What was it? They had no week off. Do you know what I mean? So that's their, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4th game in a row, and they still have another 2.
100%, Matt. And I don't know, did you watch it, the stream? The emotional output was fucking huge.
Yeah. 100%.
I was actually class to see. Like I was texting Ben Murphy. I was like, to see a grown woman in her, I don't know, I'm not going to guess her age, absolutely.
Oh no, go on,
guess it. Mind.
Guess it.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah.
Losing her absolute marbles when Highfield scored a try, like what a try as well to win a cup with a Brugger with a break and a pass, and like to see just adding the seed afterwards what it meant to him, like 58 years for a club like Highfield. I know a lot of men that didn't make it home
or to work on Monday, I'd say. But.
And maybe going north then, with that in your legs, and a few beers well deserved, it's not ideal.
Absolutely.
But fair play to Armagh. They've had 2 good wins the last 2 games, and they're right back in the mix after losing 3 in a row before that.
Indeed. Both City of Armagh and Highfield locked in 5th and 6th position on 45 points, only separated by 8 points, which is City of Armagh's in the driving seat. City of Armagh in the driving seat, excuse me. Dublin University had a bonus point win on the road, 40 points to 26 against Naas in 4-0. Donald Conroy, Charlie Sheridan, Paddy Taylor and Weirish Cleary, the try scores for the Kildare side. Maddie Lynch, Hugo Lynch, Owen McDermott, Alex Finley, Jack O'Neill and Mark Walsh, the try scores for Tony Smead's men. Burkey, it's the Trinity of old. Naas, again, like Blackrock, a bit of Jekyll and Hyde. No disgrace in losing to Trinity at home. The sun was shining. We've all played or coached against Trinity at one stage, and when the sun is shining and Tony Smead's charges are on it, you best be ready to be run around the place, and that was the case with the amount of tries they've scored. What it means to the table is that Trinity are 1 point behind Wesley, and it is going to be a monumental finish to who gets promotion to the top flight. But Trinity back to their best and thoroughly enjoying life in 1B, and who knows, they could be doing the same in Division 1A next season.
What game was it there, Mas, come back a couple of weeks ago where Tony was really happy with the performance, and it's
Wesley.
The Wesley game. Yeah. And I think like that with a group, because of the nature of Trinity, there's I suppose actually the nature of a lot of teams here at the moment, the turnover is huge every couple of years. And I think they've probably found their form, they found everything is starting to click, and they're starting to put it together consistently, and that's just a worry for everyone else when Trinity are in that form, and that's regardless of whatever fucking division they play in. I would say, to be honest, for me, they're favourites to finish top.
Yeah, I called it 3 weeks ago. Now it's no disrespect to Wesley, but like when you look at how close it is, they're 1 point behind. This could actually come down to points difference. They're 6 points behind on the points difference behind Wesley, and if it was to finish, if Trinity were to pick up a bonus point in their next two games, and Wesley were to pick up 9 points in their next two games, it would come down to points difference, which is probably going to be the first time in history. I hope it doesn't.
I thought like if you're Wesley, you're going. We have to get 10 points.
Yeah.
Well, it's Armagh play Trinity this weekend in Trinity, and then Wesley have to go to Armagh last game, so they have a big role of spoilers while chasing the top four themselves, obviously.
Yeah, so who are Wesley playing this week, and who are Trinity playing last?
Home to Naas, Wesley, and then Trinity are away to Blackrock. So two teams who are trying to avoid that playoff.
Yeah, it'll be very, very interesting times. But Trinity's 40 points to 26 win means that they're 1 point behind Old Wesley heading into round 17 this weekend. Naas dropped to 8th. They're 2 points ahead of UCC in 9th. UCC currently occupying the playoff spot. They would play the 4th place team in Division 2A in the relegation playoff semi-final, and then there would be a final after that for the winner. But Naas still in control of their own destiny and will know that they will need to get wins on the board because UCC had a good performance against Old Wesley, but they were beaten 40 points to 35 at home in the Mardyke. David Novak with a brace, as did Jack Casey Jr. and Gene O'Leary Kareem with the 5th try. Harry Murphy with 5 conversions. Kieran O'Shea, Evan Kenny, Owen Deegan, Andrew Doyle, Stephen Smith and Jamie Clark. The try scores for Morgan Lennon's men. A sigh of relief for Wesley. I know we were joking, and Burkey rightly apologised for his behaviour, not our behaviour, and saying that she had ballrooms booked and all that stuff, but it does show a serious pair of balls, Burkey, to go down. They were behind at half time and they were behind with 20 minutes to go, but they rallied and they got the win. They get 5 points and they sit top with 2 games to go. They have stopped the rot. It was a very difficult couple of weeks. They couldn't buy a drop of luck, as you said previously, with a team, but they got the win on the road. And for UCC, it means they're in the relegation playoff spot as it stands, 2 points behind Naas. But Old Wesley are 2 games if you get maximum points from Division 1A. And yeah, kind of have to say they would probably have taken that at the start of the year if you offered it to them with 2 games to go.
Who would have?
Wesley.
Oh, yeah. But they wouldn't have taken it if you offered them at Christmas. Like, look, fate very much in their own hands. And I said, I think Wesley are long overdue their goal in Division 1A. I think if a club over the last 10 years that deserve it, it's them. They've never got away. You know what I mean? There's been teams that have had a hop and it hasn't happened and they've faded away. Like they've been thereabouts for so long. UCC just when things aren't going their way, they're ahead. I think it was a lot closer than 20 minutes for us. They're winning until and
last time, wasn't it?
They're finding a way to lose games at the moment. You know, they get held up or over the line against Highfield in the last play of the game or something to that effect or knock on the line. You know, they're just when things are going bad for you, that seems to be the way you kind of somehow find a way to lose games that you should be winning. The only thing is they got to take pride in is that's a hell of a performance, and you know against the team sitting top of the league, like and they take that into the last 2 rounds.
Indeed, they can. You would expect that there would be a couple of players, hopefully from the 20s, that get back in there as well. But a hell of a performance for UCC means they take 2 match points. They sit on 34 in 9th, as we said. Naas on 36 points in 8th, and Blackrock on 39 in 7. The win for Wesley keeps them at the summit on 59, closely followed by Dublin University on 58. Estonians, who sit in 3rd, were beaten 36 points to 33 by an unbelievable Garryowen side in Shaw's Bridge on Saturday afternoon. Ollie Clark with a brace, Bevan Prinsloo, Rory O'Farrell, Bradley McNamara. The try scorers for Paul Pritchard's side. Josh Eagleson with 4 conversions. Max Lyon and Sean Sexton both with 2 tries each. Tom Ironside Wickham with the 5th try for Mike Sherry's men. Lachlan Stewart with 4 conversions and the penalty. Garryowen led 24-12 at half time. Burkey, they've been in this situation before on the road. The Trinity game sticks to mind where they've been ahead, but they saw it out, and it means that they move into the top 4 and as it stands, would play UCD in that playoff. They are on 47 points. Plenty of rugby to be played, 2 ahead of City of Armagh and Highfield. But a huge, huge win for Garryowen. Bitterly disappointing for Estonians, but both sides in the playoffs at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's massive. I thought the lads were brilliant on the podcast last week. Listen back to it, I just thought they came across so well and so genuine. And I think as well a tough week for people in Garryowen
Yeah.
with the sad passing of Ruth Staunton. Just
Remarkably
horrendous,
so,
horrendous
yes.
thing to happen. And I think rugby aside, just our heartfelt condolences and our solidarity with all the Staunton family, in particular Jeremy. Just heartbreaking stuff altogether there. And I think, Garryowen, obviously Willie's very close to his brother. I don't know whether he travelled or not the weekend, but Garryowen, taking care of business would have helped there, in that.
Absolutely, very well said. An incredibly difficult weekend, and just echo the sentiments. Our sincere condolences with the Staunton family and the tragic passing of Ruth. And it was just words fail to describe such a loss like that. But it's just important to rally around the community and remember the good times, as Burkey said in that front. But the win for Garryowen means that they are in 4th place. As we said, they would be in a semi-final.
If you take away the Trinity out of it, Garryowen, actually, I was just looking there while you were talking there. They're the form side in the division. They've actually picked up 28 points from the games after Christmas. And I was slagging, saying a couple of weeks ago they had to win to stay out of relegation trouble. But their form post-Christmas has been nothing short of sensational, really.
Yeah.
And they've thrown themselves right in the mix. And, you said the lads spoke so well. They're playing great rugby at the right time. They have Queens at home who are relegated, then UCC away. You'd have to fancy their chances of getting into the semi-final. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't. I don't care if it's UCD. I know, Burkey, you said, UCD obviously being a 1A side will fancy their chances against anyone. I wouldn't fancy anyone playing against Garryowen in the playoffs with the form they're in and the team that they could have.
Well,
As well.
Yeah. That's fair comment, Moss, yeah.
But I did have to say one thing, Frawls, you mentioned it there. Thomas Ironside Wickham. Have you ever heard such a Garryowen name in all your life?
Well, it's probably a great name when you're on a night out, so I'll put it that way. But consistent.
I just think Garryowen are in a place as a group. They're, when there's some fixtures, you go, oh, fuck, that's a tough one. No, Lads on the Way would always be one that would come to mind, or Tarfway or something like that. Where when you're in a good place as a team, those are the type of fixtures that excite you.
Yeah.
What an opportunity. And I think that's the way that's the vibe I got off the lads last week. That they're going to the Stonings and they're buzzing.
Yeah.
Nobody's been in the Stonings. Great, what an opportunity for us to go and get a scalp. And they followed it up tenfold.
Indeed, they did, and what a result it was. So heading into round 17, top 4 of Old Wesley, Trinity, Estonians and Garryowen, closely followed by City of Armagh, Highfield, Blackrock, Naas and UCC, all bidding to avoid the relegation playoff. In Queens, as we said, will play their rugby in Division 2A next season. The fixtures, Saturday, March 28th, all 2:30 p.m. kickoffs in round 17. Trinity welcome City of Armagh to College Park, Garryowen, Queens in Doyle, Highfield, Blackrock and Woodley Park, Estonians, UCC in Shaw's Bridge, and Old Wesley, Naas in Energia Park in Donnybrook. Moss, our race of clubs and game of the week, please.
We're going all 5.
Oh, Jesus. Trinity, Garryowen. Trinity to beat City of Armagh, Garryowen to beat Queens, Highfield and Blackrock. I think Highfield will just have enough. Estonians, UCC, close, but Estonians and Old Wesley, Naas, high scoring thriller, and Old Wesley to pull it out of the bag again.
Yeah, you've got 5 home. I'm going to go 5 home as well. I think Estonians, Trinity, Garryowen, Highfield, Wesley. Top 5. How boring are we?
Burkey, Trinity, or City of Armagh?
I'm going all away.
All away. Oh, interesting. All away. Home and away.
Even Queens.
Now I've missed the week and my score is not going to be truly reflective anyway. I'm going to go fucking high risk.
Yes, high risk. is our
Picking
Gerber.
Queens is high risk, Burkey.
Yeah, he's talking about Queen's
Yeah,
at
but
the
that's just out of here, like what I actually do in the tournament.
minute. Make sure to enter our Ace of Clubs before 1:25 p.m. this Saturday, or Morris will be calling you out next week. Moving to Division 2A. It was a remarkable weekend across Division 2, and we will start in Division 2A. Corinthians had a huge win on the road, 28 points to 5 against Ballymena, which means they are 2 points behind the playoffs. Shannon moved into the home semi-final spot with a 38 points to nil win over Banbridge, who were relegated to Division 2B. Dungannon and Wanderers played in a 70-point thriller. Wanderers winning 38 points to 32 on the road to move 2 points clear in fourth position, with Dungannon dropping to third. Cashel with a huge away win against the champions, 40 points to 35 against Barnhall in Parsonstown, meaning that they are still in with a chance of getting the top four on 39 points. And Old Crescent, much needed win, much to the delight of the Old Crescent faithful on the road, 13 points to 10 against Greystones in Dr. Hickey Park. Moss, much to digest in Division 2A. The main talking points: Barnhall already confirmed as champions, beaten 40 points to 35 by Cashel. Shannon's 38 points to nil win, coupled with Dungannon's loss, means that Shannon now are level on points, but ahead on the points differential by 125 points. And what a turnaround it is, Shannon having lost that Munster Senior Cup final. So Shannon and Dungannon, along with Wanderers, the main talking points in the top four. And it's anyone's guess as to who's going to get that home semi-final, but Shannon in the driving seat for the time being.
Yeah, Shannon in driving seat. Very similar actually to Highfield in terms of, Senior Cup final. They obviously were beaten fairly late by Highfield in that, so they obviously not the same, but they travel up north a week after. They're on now. That's their fourth week in a row. They go to Banbridge, they win fairly comfortably, 38-0. Banbridge obviously relegated and down into the regionalisation next year, which isn't ideal for them. I actually heard Shannon were slightly disappointed with the way they played, but, to be disappointed and win 38-0 up the north,
Yeah.
you'll take that any day of the week, I suppose. And like you said, that coupled with Wanderers' unbelievable win up in Dungannon means that now they hold all the cards in terms of getting that home semi-final at the moment. And that is going to be important, obviously, as well. What a ding-dong battle that was. Wanderers kind of made an early break. What scored half time, Frawls? I can't
17-12 Wanderers ahead of
17-12 Wanderers, yeah. And then after half time, they scored, was this shared tries, but then they rattled off a few tries themselves. It was nip and tuck the whole way. And I think it was 33-32 when they scored a try. Wanderers with about maybe 5 minutes left to seal the victory, but not even seal it because they missed the conversion. So an absolute rip-roaring game up there.
A humdinger,
really,
yeah. Just the try
really
scores
big.
there. James McMahon with a brace, Tony Gribben, Ryan Abernethy, Matthew Stockdale, Ben Mackay with 2 conversions, Peter Nelson with a penalty, Jamie Kavanagh, Val McDermott, Jordan Conroy, and Dylan Kedley with the brace for Wanderers. Shannon's try scores, yeah. Oisin Minogue with a brace, Luke Doyle, Josh Costello, Keane McCann, and Neil Cronin. We said it was a record-breaking weekend across the Energia All-Ireland League. Dungannon Wanderers and Shannon certainly played their part, Moss, but go on.
Yeah, sorry, I was just about saying, just to highlight how impressive it was a win for Wanderers. I think that was Dungannon's second loss only of the year at home. The other one obviously being Barnhall, who were unbeaten up to that. So to go there with, at this stage of the season when playoffs on the line, and to win is a massive statement from Wanderers, who, don't forget, just came up from 2B as well. So, maybe they're hitting their straps at the right time as well. What is it now? So they've won 4 of the last 5. It'd be interesting.
Remarkable. The context of just how mad we speak about 1B each year. In the context of Division 2A, Crescent's 13 points to 10 win over Greystones means that they're 6 points behind Greystones and Ballymena. Serious balls to go to Wicklow and win there. Greystones, even though they lost with the losing bonus point, move ahead of Ballymena and level on points with them by the points differential again, minus 39 and minus 93. But Corinthians, the real winners there, Moss, 28 points to 5 over Ballymena, means their bonus point means they're 2 points behind. Trying to make sense of it, Ballymena were in with a shout at the top 4, prior to kickoff, and now they're closest to Old Crescent after their win against Greystone. So it doesn't matter if it's 1A or 2A. If you're not on it, you're not on it. And
no, it's crazy. Like you look at Ballymena, for example, like you said, right in the mix for Ollie, for top four, and now they're looking over their shoulder. You look at their form post Christmas. They've lost 3 games, right? They've lost the Barnhall, they've lost the Wanderers, they've lost the Corinthians. No shame in that. 3 teams, obviously Barnhall have won the league and they're promoted. Wanderers and Corinthians hunting down the last playoff spot. They'd been in a rich run of form. And now all of a sudden, because they lost those last 2 games, they play away to Greystones and home to Crescent the last 2 games. And instead of going, geez, we could make the playoffs here, they're going, Jesus Christ, are we going to get into relegation playoff here? It's absolutely wild, this division.
yeah, it's absolute insanity. Just the try scores: Dylan Henry and Ken Murphy for Greystones, John Toland, good old JT, the try score from Michael Harding's side. So that win means that they're 6 points behind Ballymena, who were beaten by Corinthians. Dean Miller, the try scores for Ballymena, Owen Conlon, Tom Waters, Joey Tierney, and Mark Boyle securing what could be an all-important bonus point for Corinthians. Billy Cross kicking 4 conversions for the men from the West. Cashel with a 40 points to 35 win over Barnhall and Parsonstown. Barnhall can be forgiven a 3-day bender, I'm reliably informed. Conor Duggan, Neil Byrne, Kieran Enright, Abdul Olaspican, and Matthias Gianetti. Just to clarify, they weren't on the 3-day bender, they were part of the 3-day bender. Marcel Strydom with 4 tries, a hat-trick a couple of weeks back, so there was surely a few points of Guinness in Spafield for him. Ben Toomey and Richard Moran completing the try scoring for Cashel. Just a crazy league all in, and after 16 rounds, Barnall, as we say, confirmed champions. Shannon, as it stands in the driving seat, and they'll face Dungannon in a semi-final only if they manage to win their games, because Wanderers and Corinthians on 47 and 45 points respectively are in 4th and 5th. Cashel next in 6th on 39. Greystones and Ballymena tied in 7th and 8th on 35 points, only separated by the points differential. And Old Crescent 6 points behind Ballymena and Greystones. They know that they need a picture perfect 2 games to have any chance of avoiding the relegation playoff, and a good place to start was a win against Greystones. Those are the results of Division 2A in round 16. Moving to the fixtures this weekend in Division 2A, Galway Corinthians welcome Dungannon to Corinthian Park. Greystones, Ballymena and Dr. Hickey Park. Old Crescent, Cashel in Takumi Park. Shannon, Barnhall in Thomond Park. And Wanderers, Banbridge in Marion Road. Moss, our race the clubs and game of the week, please.
Yeah, you alluded to it, Frawley. I have all 5 games here as well. The finale in this division at both ends is going to be absolutely superb.
I'm just waiting for the diner door to open and Don't Stop Believing to start, and then it'll just fade to black.
I know, it's like the bottom Cashel, all of a sudden, like if you were Crescent, you'd be saying, for fuck's sake, Banner, they're hammering teams all year, and then they don't give a fuck because they go on a bender and Cashel go up and beat them. Now all of a sudden Cashel are closer to top 4 than they are the Crescent in 9th. I don't know. The thing is mental. It's so condensed at the top. It's so condensed at the bottom. I'm just looking at fixtures here while you were talking. And like I look at Shannon, for example, right? Just off the top of my head, because I knew they had a rough start to the season. They are currently in 2nd on 50 points, have a home semi-final. They're 5 points ahead of the 5th team, but they play Barnhall at home and Cashel away. They form Cashel are in your ear. Oh my God, are they going to lose those 2 games? Corinthians have Dungannon at home, but Banbridge away. Trenton beat Banbridge. You know, you can just go through all the fixtures and go, what is going to happen in this league? I don't think anyone knows.
Well, one thing's for certain, and Burkey will agree to this, that rugby is the real winner each Saturday in the Energia All-Ireland League, not least in Division 2A.
If you're Cashel, like listen to this now, and you know they're as bitter as anything out there. And that's a good thing, lads. I'm not slagging you. They're away to Crescent this weekend, right? So they could potentially relegate Crescent into that playoff, right? And then they're home to Shannon the week after. How happy would Cashel be for their season if they were to say, fuck off Crescent and knock Shannon out of the semi-finals as well? Oh my God, they will be thrilled with that.
But it's remarkable because to have like Cashel could potentially get into the playoffs with 8 wins. Now they need a lot of stuff to go their way. It is unlikely, but Crescent did overturn Cashel in Spafield in round 2 of the Energia All Ireland League. Their first win there ever, I think, in the league. So time will tell. But Moss, all 5 games. Corinthians or Dungannon?
Fuck. I forgot about actually calling the games. I will go with that. That literally could be a draw. I'll have. I'm going to go with Dungannon, I think.
The Greystones or Ballymena?
Greystones at home.
Old Crescent or Cashel?
Cashel.
Shannon or Barnhall?
Shannon.
And Wanderers or Banbridge?
Wanderers. And I would not be surprised if 60% of those games went the other way.
Yeah, I know they're impossible. Corinthians, Dungannon. I think Corinthians are in a good vein of form, particularly with their win last week. Greystones, Ballymena, 1-score game. Greystones to finish their home season in Dr. Ricky Park on a high. Crescent and Cashel. Yeah, I think Cashel have been in very, very good form, scoring 40 points on the road. But again, Crescent getting a much needed win against Greystones, but Cashel just about for me. I think Shannon will beat Barnhall just by virtue of Barnhall having the League One already. They will want to bounce back. They're a proud club and they will want to get ready with 1B. But I think Shannon there and Wanderers to beat Banbridge. Burkey, Corinthians or Dungannon?
He's asleep, I'd say.
All right, I was moved there. Apologies. I thought you were just ignoring me. Corinthians.
Greystones or Ballymena?
Greystones at home, yeah.
Old Crescent or Cashel?
Cashel.
Shannon or Barnhall?
Ooh, Barnhall.
Wanderers or Banbridge?
Wanderers.
That is our review and preview of Division 2A of the Energia All Ireland League. In Division 2B, Enniscorthy continued their fine end of season form, winning 52 points to 19 against Skerries in Allcast Park. Clore Valley had a resounding win on the road in the champions, 31 points to 0 against Galwegians to take a firm hold of that home semi-final playoff place. Navan were beaten 35 points to 34 at home by Malone in Ballyrees Gold. What a game that is, and it brings Malone right back into the top 4 contention. And speaking of top 4, Sligo's 31 points to 21 win over Rainey means that they're in the driving seat with 2 games to go. UL Bows with the score of around 70 points to 22 winners over Buccaneers on the UL 4G pitch, meaning they sit in third, 6 points ahead of Sligo, 7 ahead of Rainey and Malone, respectively. Moss, we will start at the top of the table here. Clore Valley were 31 points to 0 winners over Galwegians. Tane here, Tommy Coulter, David Maxwell, Josh Coyle scoring a massive bonus point in the context of the season. David Maxwell with 4 conversions and a penalty. UL Bows winning 70 points to 22 against Buccaneers in the UL 4G pitch. I was at this. Pádraig Galvin, Tom Cullen, Evan Lacey, Killian Deneen, Sean Quirk and Oisin Fagan with a brace, who was outstanding. Liam O'Shannon with a brace as well, and Liam Nealon with completing the route. Cian Casey with 10 conversions. Has not missed a kick for UL Bows, as far as I'm concerned. He was in absolutely unbelievable form. Tom Shine and Paddy Egan and Charlie Byrne with a brace for Buccaneers, so they did leave with 1 point, even though they were heavily beaten. Moss, just on that, Clore Valley, I say with respect, getting Galwegians at the right time, but still had to go and win. They nilled Weegians, tunnel vision. They're 4 points ahead of UL Bows, who had that 70 points to 22 win over Bucks at the weekend, and it's nip and tuck, but it looks very much like that will be the semi-final as it stands in Clore Valley.
Yeah, I suppose I only said there a couple of weeks ago that I thought Bows might still get to home semi-final, just for the simple reason Clore Valley had to play Galwegians. They do have to go to Malone and Rainey as well. They do have a tough run in, but then they go to Galwegians and win 31-0. So you score 70 points, I suppose. You come off the pitch in UL 4G. By the way, kicking 10 conversions there is a serious achievement because it is windy. So fair play to Cian Casey for that. So they come off after scoring 70 points, and they're probably looking. They go, for fuck's sake, like Clore Valley.
She's wearing a white chiffon skirt.
30, yeah, exactly, 31-0. Which is annoying, but look, they can only control what they can control. In terms of Clore Valley, unbelievable win. I don't think it's a coincidence that we see Barnall and Galwegians both losing on the same weekend, with the league wrapped up in the round before. If anything, it actually highlights how impressive Winstonians' perfect season 18 was. It's just played 18, won 18 try bonus points. It's an incredible achievement, really, to keep the concentration up. A massive win for Clore Valley in the context of that. And look, you were at the UL Bows game. They were comprehensive winners, really. Maybe Galwegians deserved that result for a video I saw put out on social media there during the week. It was car crash stuff.
Well, a 3-day bender.
It wasn't a club video. Yeah. Let me just put it that way.
A 3-day bender is fairly warranted, and you can ask Morris or Moose Archery on Instagram if you'd like to have a proper cut-off. But for the time being, Clore Valley in the driving seat on 62 points, 4 points ahead of UL Bohemians. Sligo at a 31 points to 21 win over Rainey and Hamilton Park Moss. Finn Young, Cameron Griffith, Mark McLean, Kuba Wojcic, and a penalty try, meaning that they get 5 points. Rainey through Andrew Donaghy, Callum Smith, and the penalty try put in a good performance, but don't pick up anything from the game. So it means that they're 1 point behind Sligo. A brilliant win from the men from Hamilton Park. They would have went into the dressing room to hear that Malone won 35 points to 34 against Navan. Fionn Craig, Mark Cohen and Conor Farrell, both with 2 tries each for Navan. Tom Gavigan with 3 conversions and a penalty. Dan Kerr with a brace, a penalty try. Callum Knox, Tane Hotham, meaning that Malone with Matty Ray with a conversion win by 1 point. So they are level on points with Rainey, 1 point behind Sligo. The points differential is not insurmountable for either team there, and this one is going to go to the absolute wire on round 18, you feel, given how close Malone and Sligo are. Given how close Malone and Rainey are to Sligo and vice versa, you can see that 4th place changing hands.
Yeah, this is going to be, we talked about the running in 2A, this is running in 2B for the last player, or the playoff spots is going to be, well, in this instance, the last playoff spots is going to be incredible. A big win for Sligo, like you said, a must win really for us. Let's be honest about it. Their form of late had been patchy. They hadn't won in 4 games. So it was a must win for Sligo, and to do it the way they did it, like you said, Frawls, 5-0 is absolutely massive, because this is going to come down to, you spoke about Trinity and Wesley in 1B potentially coming down to points difference. This is actually on points difference at the moment, is it? Well, no, sorry, with 44, 43, 43. So it could be very, very similar in terms of coming down to points difference. So to go 5-0 is massive in the scheme, in the overall lead. In terms of Malone going to Navan, I actually picked Navan, I'm not going to lie, to win in my ace of clubs. I thought, with I've been harping on about their centenary year. Their home form has been decent enough, to be honest with you. So for Malone to go there and win, and that's now 3 bonus point wins their last 4 games, to get them right back in the mix is a hell of a win, to be honest with you. I know Navan haven't been great this season, and they're down the bottom half of the table, but at home especially, they're going to be difficult to beat, and it's a great win to go there and pick up 5 points as well. Just looking at the last fixtures here between these 3 sides, we'll take, because we're going to assume Bows and Clore Valley are in, right? The bottom half table doesn't matter, and Galwegians are promoted. You have Malone, so you can tell me, and maybe Burkey, you can jump in as well. Malone are at home to Clore Valley, away to Enniscorthy. We have Rainey at home to Galwegians, away to Clore Valley. That's a tough run in now. And you've Sligo away to Bucks and home to Skerries. I mean, without being disrespectful, I personally would really have to fancy Sligo to get in from those 2 spots.
I agree on that, but I think that there's going to be an element of surprise. I think Sligo brilliantly. It's one of those ones. I'd imagine the coaches had a nice glass of something where it's a picture perfect performance. 5 points, stop your close rivals from getting it. But at the same time, Rainey have it in their armory to cause an upset there. But I think if Sligo take 10 points from those remaining games, they can't be caught. And
Yeah.
I think that's what they'll be looking at. So, but again, Malone and Rainey, Clore Valley, Ulster derbies, same as Leinster derbies or
The
Munster
Sligo
derbies.
box is a Connacht derby
Yeah,
as well. So.
there's a huge opportunity there for all sides. But very quickly in Division 2B, Enniscorthy, 52 points to 19 winners over Skerries and Allcast Park. Lee Tracy and Ryan Whelan with a brace each. Fiacra Hurahan with a hat-trick and Jack Kelly with a sole try. God damn it, Jack, why just one? Why not two or three? Conal Kervick with 2 conversions and Ben Kidd with 3 of his own. Sam Deering, James Brennan and Rob McKee, the try scores for Skerries. Disappointing afternoon for Skerries. They face UL Bows this Saturday. They look to finish their season in home, Patrick, on a high as they head into their centenary season next year. Yep, so on that front, Enniscorthy sit in 8th, Skerries in 9th, Navan in 10th. There is no relegation in Division 2B as the restructuring, but Malone, Rainey and Sligo with a chance to get themselves into the playoff to get out of the restructuring and into the Energia All-Ireland League. Division 2A next season. What a weekend it's going to be. And round 17 this weekend sees Buccaneers welcome Sligo to Dewberry Park in a Connacht derby, Malone, Clore Valley in Gibson Park, Navan, Enniscorthy in Ballyreesk, Rainey, Galwegian, Patrick Park, and Skerries, UL Bows in home, Patrick. I presume everything at play here, Mass?
I left off one. What was the one I left off?
Navan and Enniscorthy.
I feel guilty. No, yeah.
Yeah, I think Sligo will win in Buccaneers. I think that Clogher Valley will win in Malone. I think that Rainey will beat Galwegians, and I think that UL Bows will beat Skerries.
I go with 3 of the 4. I think Galwegians will beat Rainey, and I think I'll go with you for the other 3.
Burkey Buccaneers or Sligo in Dewberry Park?
Sligo.
Malone or Clogher Valley in Gibson Park?
Clore Valley.
Rainey or Galwegians in Hattrick Park?
Galwegians.
And Skerries or UL Bows in home, Patrick?
Skerries.
Skerries. That is our review and preview of Division 2B in the Energia All-Ireland League. What a weekend it's going to be in round 17 in 2B, right across the divisions, but in Division 2C or Pro D 2C as it's being known as affectionately by many members of the division. Ballyclare were 27 points to 22 winners over Middleton in the clock, and Bective Rangers and Bruff in a 97-point thriller. Bective coming out on top 57-40 in Energia Park. Belfast Harlequins had a huge win, 29 points to 21 winners over Monkstown in Derrimore Park. Dolphin hit over the half century, 54 points to 28 against Thomond in Virgin Media Park, meaning that they move into the playoff places. What a win that was for them. And Clonmel with a huge win against the gallant Malahide side, 42 points to 36 winners in Estuary Road. We did say last week, lads, that we are not obviously going to pick games involving teams that could potentially be relegated to junior rugby. But in terms of the results, Mass, we will take Clonmel, Bective, Thomond and Dolphin. Dolphins 54-28 win means that they, with the 5 points, move up into 4th, 2 points ahead of Monkstown, who drop out after Belfast Harlequins 29 points to 21 win, and Bective Rangers, all for a tenner, 97 points, 57-40. Their win, Mass, means that they sit in 2nd position, 4 points behind Clonmel, who had an unbelievable 42 points to 36 win over Malahide. So in terms of the top 4, obviously no promotion, as we've said on numerous occasions. The opportunity for silverware is something that will never be snuffed at, and Clonmel have been playing incredible rugby. 500 points scored in 16 games. They're 4 points ahead of Bective. That has the makings, if it was to be the final, of one of the most thrilling and entertaining games. We could potentially have Chuck and the thing on the wing on commentary, but Clonmel and Bective thoroughly enjoying life in Division 2C and racking up the points as we saw last weekend.
Yeah, I know you said we're not going to call the games, and there's a big one this weekend, but we do have to talk about them, Frawls. And unfortunately, If you're involved with Malahide, they got absolutely kicked in the stones, for lack of a better word, on Saturday. I was following it on Any Score. Clonmel, I said it, they played against Thomond a couple of weeks ago. They had that fight. They looked decent. They weren't giving up. They gave Thomond the right rattle. They probably deserved something from the game. And then they play Clonmel, who are the best team in the division. They're winning, and Clonmel score very, very, very late to seal a victory up in Estuary Road, which is great for Clonmel, cements their place on top. But what it means at the opposite end is you now have Malahide really, really, really staring down the barrel. They play Belfast Harlequins this weekend in Derrymore Park. They're 10 points behind them. Now they are ahead of them on points difference. So nothing more than 5-0 is gonna do for Malahide after that unfortunate loss. I saw the fight 2 weeks ago. They obviously had it in spades again this weekend, and so unlucky to put in a performance like that.
Absolutely. Winning 26 points to 21, and just on the scores, James McKeown, Dan Hayes, Matt Faulkner, Oisin Power, and Sam Lindeman, meaning they picked up 2 match points. So an array of emotions: Ben O'Dwyer, Jack Walsh, and Henry Buttimer with a brace each, and Andrew Daly for Pat O'Connor's men. But
Well, I suppose the reason they are 10 points behind then is because of Will married up with the top 4 again with Belfast Harlequins. Absolutely incredible home win against Monkstown 29 20 20 21. You know, without probably being a bit disrespectful, Belfast Harlequins had been on a really, really, really poor run of form, obviously, to find themselves where they were. They hadn't won since the effective before Christmas. So to go at home when the chips were down, I talked about the fight of Malahide. Belfast Harlequins had it in spade this weekend as well. To get 5 points at home to Monkstown, who are fighting for their life for the top 4 as well, is an unbelievable win.
Remarkable. And to use your phraseology, they arrested the slide: Ben Power, David Armstrong, and Harry Palmer with 2 tries. Johnny McCracken, ever reliable from the tee, with 9 points. Fraser Ritt, Conor Hurley, and Tony McGuinness, the try scores for Monkstown. They, as you said, must slip to 5th. They're 2 points behind Dolphin, moving to that game. 54 points to 28 winners over Thomond. Max Abbott, Hunter Yarrell with a brace, Finn Cowig, Richie Heaslip, Craig O'Connell, who has been seismic for them. Sam Boyle and Scott Sexton, Yarrell kicking 7 conversions. Aaron Rice, Sam Baran with a brace, and Jason Kiley means Thomond pick up a try bonus point on the road. Evan Cusack with 4 tries, 21 points apiece at halftime. Thomond, by their own admission, in a bit of a rocky patch, given a couple of injuries and whatnot. Nothing to do with Eddie Fryer coming on and saying that they were unbeaten in Fitzgerald Park. But all jokes aside, a very competitive division. Dolphin showing their mettle, and 54 points to 28 win means that they jump Monkstown after their loss to Belfast Harlequins, as you said.
Yeah, look, I saw Dolphin playing Thomond there at the start of the season. I thought they were very decent. I thought they were better than where they were, we'll say, after the first third of the season. I kept saying that on here, and I'm glad that I've been proven right. They've won. They've only lost twice, I think, since the 13th of December, and that's away at Malahide and away at Bective, which there's no shame in that. And they had a chance to beat Bective as well late on. Their form has been really, really good. And as a result, now they find themselves in 4th place, and they're well deserving of it. At the moment, they go to Clonmel. They go there this weekend, so it might be a dry run for that semi-final. But look, they're a good side. Thomond have absolutely no complaints. Every side has injuries. Thomond, obviously, I think Ballyclare had a load of injuries at start season. I don't even think Thomond had a back on the bench on Saturday. That's how decimated they are in the back.
I heard you three missed phone calls as well.
Well, I actually met Jamie McGarry in Duns yesterday, and he goes, "Jesus Christ, Morris, they might be giving you a call at this stage." And I said, "What about their fucking backs, coach? When he throw on the boots, Earlsey, come on now, we need you. Put on the boots."
Yeah, I caught it. You know what's more? I don't know what's more shocking there. Morris not talking out, or he does his shopping in Duns, like little and Ellie for the rest of us. But the results.
What's that Bective then? I suppose. Look, a big win.
57-40, Mass is like.
Do you know anything where you're talking to Paul Collins? Like it was an absolute brilliant game.
I was chatting to a couple of people in Bruff. were absolutely brilliant in the opening exchanges, caused Bective a lot of problems. Bective came roaring back, and then Bective's bench was that little bit stronger than Bruff. No disrespect to Bruff's bench, but 57-40 means that Bruff's playoff chances are probably over. They've had a very, very good season of Paget, but Bective, Rangers, Moss, Tierney McCluskey, Chris Hennessy, Connor Kelly with a hat-trick, Dave McPollan, Chris Rowland, Gavin Kelly and Bobby Holland. Defence optional, you would imagine, in Division 2C. Clem McAuliffe, Paul Collins, Patricia Unoyan with a brace, Captain Killian Ray and Shane Duggan, the try scores for Andy O'Byrne's men. 33-26 at half-time, 57-40, all for a tenner. There are worse places you could have been on Saturday afternoon, but Bective have been a joy to watch in Division 2C since their return to senior rugby, particularly when they're on AstroTurf, Moss.
Yes, and yeah, it certainly is. And Ballyclare all of a sudden are right back in the mix as well. Now they had the injury bug at the start of the season. They come to Fitzgerald Park this week after their third bonus point win in a row at home to Middleton. Middleton now 2 points ahead of Belfast Harlequins. 2 points ahead of Belfast Harlequins in that relegation playoff spot. And Ballyclare, all of a sudden, who we were talking about down the opposite end of the table, are now 4 points behind Dolphin in the chase for 4.
Outrageous.
It's
Outrageous. You
and we
wouldn't want to
saw
be
a
trying to
team.
book holidays. You wouldn't want to be trying booking holidays. Just on
No,
that, Jacob Scarlett, Matthew Coulter, Aaron Playfair, and Josh Cowan, the try scorers. Josh Cowan coming in for noticeable mention as well, back after injury, getting the bonus point try. Ruben Moxham with a brace and Mark Jackson with a penalty. Alejandro Martinez, Jimenez, JB Dutoy, and Andrew Beiruti, the try scorers for Middleton. 10 points to 7. Moss Ballyclare had at half time, but as you said, whatever about half time, they're now 4 points outside the playoffs after being in a relegation fight. Middleton, on the other hand, pick up a point. They're a point ahead of Belfast Harlequins. It'll be intense and nervous round 17 and round 18, but Middleton, that point could be invaluable come the end of the season.
yeah, could be. It's they're 2 points ahead. It's still in their hands. They play Bective at home, Bruff away. They'll certainly have a close eye on Derrymore Park on Saturday as well.
Yes, indeed.
I still think, I know I picked up a bit of slack because I said it when Thomond were winning the league. I still think, in my money, like Thomond are third now, and it's been a good season for us getting into the top 4 now that there is playoffs. I still think Clonmel deserve to win the league regardless of what happens.
Yeah, it's
if they finish top themselves or Bective, I think the league obviously finishing top is gone for anyone beneath that. But if Bective were to catch Clonmel, they deserve the league. But on everything I've seen so far this season,
Clonmel have been a joy to
Clonmel,
watch.
yeah,
And they have, and even in the highlights I've seen, they've been brilliant on both sides of the ball. But it will be interesting to see what way it goes. The fixtures this weekend on the run-in of round 17. Belfast Harlequins welcome Malahide to Derrymore Park for a massive game at the bottom of the table. Clonmel, Dolphin in a Munster derby in Ardguia, first v fourth. Middleton, Bective in a huge game, which will have ramifications for both ends of the table. That's 2:30 as well in Towns Park. Monkstown, Bruff in Park Avenue, and Thomond, Ballyclare in Liam Fitzgerald Park. Moss, we will obviously leave out Belfast Harlequins, Malahide and Middleton.
Yeah.
But Clonmel or Dolphin?
It's interesting. The weather's pretty good. Dolphin do like throw the ball around, but Clonmel I think Clonmel at home, you'd want to be a very, very good side to go there and win. So I'm going to pick Clonmel.
Monkstown or Bruff?
I think the fact that Bruff now probably out of their grasp in terms of the top 4, Monkstown have that little bit more to play for. I'm going to go with Monkstown.
Not quite stopping on Puchin, still on the way up, but certainly on the way back for Bruff. And
Tom and Ballyclare. I'll be there race night after 6:30. I have a horse going.
Is Burkey going?
He's the jockey. So I'm hoping to catch a point with Mike Orchard McKeevan afterwards. So
absolutely, 100%. I think Clonmel and Dolphin will be a cracking game, but Clonmel, for me, I think Monkstown and Bruff, high scoring, but Monkstown with more to play for there. Nothing against Bruff, and I think Tom and Ballyclare, what a game that's going to be. Shipped a couple of injuries, but I think with it being their last game in Liam Fitzgerald Park in the regular season, I think they might do the business against Ballyclare and take nothing away from the race night. Mike Orchin McKeever and Mars Artery back in ponies up to the Ladbrokes at the top of Ballinanty. Who knows where the night may take them?
Well, that new road is open in my Ross now. It's a game changer. Honestly,
you
for
can
the
get to
away
any
teams,
bookies you want. You can get to any.
no, but I
bookies you
swear
want.
to God, I'm not even slagging because that new road is open. The away teams, sure, they can just come in the tunnel now. It's actually going to make a massive
It's taking the
difference
fear
to
factor.
teams,
It's
so-
taking the fear factor.
It is.
away
It
now.
is.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
shocking.
we'll have to get the
Shocking.
young fellas back stone in the buses.
Yeah, Burkey in Division 2C, Clonmel or Dolphin,
Hamel,
Monkstown or Bruff,
Monkstown,
Thomond or Ballyclare.
Thomond.
What's your opinion on the new road? Burkey Moss just said they can come in the tunnel, so there's the real fear factor has been taken out of it.
Yeah, well, we won't know how good the new road is until the first race,
Sulky
the
race
horse
on
race
it.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's I actually you laugh at this. Like obviously, people, you hear people they've no business really going down to my Ross because one way in, one way out, unless you were going down to a match or you live down there. Like, but now the road is open. It's a road through it. Like, and the amount of people I've been chatting to and going, they're just riding horses bareback down there and there's sulkies everywhere. Here, yeah, that's the way it's been for the last fucking 20 years. Like.
Yeah, there you go. There's a business opportunity for you there, Moss. You could do
100
tours. You could do tours in my Ross on that front. Anyways, gents, we digress. That is a review and preview of Division 2C, and that is the 5 leagues. We say it every week. If you are at games this weekend, X and Instagram us photos, points after results, tries, bus journeys, and use the hashtag EnergiaAIL. Round 17 is always, and has been for the 8 years we've been doing this podcast, is always the weekend to get out to again. The weather's to be good, according to Aaron Moss. You could do far worse than taking himself, the kids, whatever it is, down to a local club for the weekend. You will not regret it. And ladies and gents, that is a wrap for Season 8, Episode 17. Many thanks to my co-host, Moss and Burkey, and of course to you, the listeners. I've been Dara Frawley. We've been the Club Scene Podcast, powered by Energia. What a weekend of club rugby we have in store.
It's in the air, I breathe, I feel it in my bones. It's everywhere I look and eats me to my soul. So I ignore the signs and look the other way. And all that's left will be the lion's share.